Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. I think Mason Greenwood is set to start the game this evening against AZ Alkmaar. Now obviously Mason Greenwood scored in his last two games, of course, that I did start for Manchester United, and of course that was against FC Astana and of course against Rochdale in the Carabao Cup. And Mason Greenwood, in the games he has played, he has, done really, really well. Obviously, he's not yet started a game from the start in the Premier League. I'm surprised, he didn't start on Monday against Arsenal. Mason Greenwood, don't forget, has just turned 18 years of age. He was 18 on the 1st of October. But yeah, very, very good player indeed. And I think he can become successful at Manchester United. I think by the time he's, 23, 24 years of age, I think he can, become a world-class centre forward. And Solskjaer did initially say that it would be impossible, to leave Mason Greenwood out of the team, if he does keep the consistency up and he does keep scoring goals. But yeah, very, very good player. And like I said, we have got a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve at Manchester United. Maybe I have got some element of concern about certain young upcoming players. Maybe, some of them need to be loaned out, maybe, because it will be beneficial for their career, and maybe, it will gain them more experience. But it may only turn out that Mason Greenwood, becomes only the young, successful player at Manchester United. I think also Alex Tuanzebe, can become a success. But I did say, at this moment in time, I think Mason Greenwood is a much better solution than Marcus Rashford, because I've been analysing Rashford's performances so far this season. He hasn't performed to the standards as we all expected. He's done okay. Well, he actually did okay throughout pre-season. Rashford, he did well on the opening day against Chelsea, but prior to that, he has been below par. Don't forget, he has just recently, recovered from a groin injury, and he played on Monday against Arsenal. And Rashford, didn't look fully fit in that game. But yeah, for me, Mason Greenwood is a much better solution than him at the moment. Don't forget, Mason Greenwood only made his full debut for the club at the end of last season in a 2-0 home defeat to Cardiff. So I do believe tonight Mason Greenwood is set to start in that number 9. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anywhere tonight, will make alterations in the squad. In this particular game, he'll go more with the youth. I think he'll also, go with some of the experienced players. And don't forget, we have got quite a few injuries in that. I think also Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got concerns about the plastic pitch ahead of the game this evening. I'm going to interpret something he said. He actually said it's one of the worst ones he's seen in a while. But this is our second game with the Europa League. Like I did give you the team news yesterday, it's confirmed. Well, there's quite a few players that are out. Solskjaer has named, don't forget, a 21-man squad for the trip to the Netherlands. But it's confirmed that Paul Pogba will not be playing in this game. Paul Pogba's played the last two games for Manchester United. He played the full 90 minutes against Arsenal and Rochdale, but he didn't look fully fit on Monday. But yeah, he hasn't travelled with the rest of the Manchester United squad, Paul Pogba, due to recurrence of the foot injury that he had sustained back in August in the 1-1 draw with Southampton. So I think he's set to be, I think he's going to be further assessed, is Paul Pogba. So yeah, it's confirmed, that he's out. He's confirmed that obviously he's currently out, and analysing Paul Pogba's performances so far this season, he has again he hasn't performed to the standards as we all expected. I don't think Paul Pogba has yet scored this season, but yeah, and I do believe Paul Pogba will leave the football club in January or next summer, and that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows deep down how much an imperative player he is. Paul Pogba, of course, don't forget, he had to withdraw from the France squad around 4 or 5 weeks ago due to the ankle injury he had sustained in the 1-1 draw with Southampton, and in that aspect, he would have been infuriated because Paul Pogba, does like to represent France in that. Yeah, so he will not be playing this evening. Maybe we'll be playing in the game against Newcastle on Sunday. We're not too sure about that. But yeah, I definitely think Paul Pogba is going to be leaving the football club. You know, it was very essential that we did convince him to remain at the football club at least for this summer, especially with our failure to land a midfielder in, you know, throughout the course of the summer. But don't forget, throughout the course of the summer, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. Obviously, you know, he was also linked to a move to PSG. You know, Barcelona were in for him. There was also talks about him making a return back to Turin, because Paul Pogba did have 4 good years in Turin, and that hasn't mainly replicated this at Manchester United. He's mainly enjoyed a difficult time at Manchester United in comparison to his time, you know, with Juventus. We have seen him at his best as a Manchester United player, Paul Pogba. You know, when he's at his best, you know, he's arguably one of the best midfielders in the world. We mainly see the best of Paul Pogba, you know, when he's 3'd up. Yeah, and he did well in that 3 month period, you know, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. So we have seen him at his best as a Manchester United player, but it was mainly Real Madrid that would in for him, you know, throughout the course of the summer. And I think Paul Pogba's preference is a move to Real Madrid. So more than likely, Real Madrid, you know, will reignite their interest in January, or of course next summer. And obviously, you know, reflecting on the substantial amount, you know, we put on Paul Pogba, you know, throughout the course of the summer, that was a stumbling block of Paul Pogba making his move to Real Madrid, because Real Madrid were not willing to meet our substantial amount, because obviously, you know, we wanted in the region of around £180 million. Obviously, you know, Real Madrid were not willing to meet that, but Real Madrid themselves spent around £300 million during the summer on around 5 players. You know, they did sell some players, so they did, you know, generate some of the money back. But yeah, but there has, you know, been recent. There has been a lot of speculation going. There has been a lot of speculation going on quite recently about Paul Pogba possibly, you know, renewing his contract at Manchester United now. Reportedly, you know, Paul Pogba is demanding a substantial £600,000 a week from Manchester United. If he is, you know, to renew his contract at the football club. 600 grand a week, you know, equates to around £30 million a year. I can't see Manchester United willing to meet his £600,000 a week wage demands, even though we do have the financial power, you know, to currently meet those wage demands. And I think we've had negotiations with Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, you know, to discuss his future and over the possibility of renewing his contract. But Paul Pogba has got 2 years left on his current deal at Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year. And obviously on his current deal, he's on around 290 grand a week. So in that aspect, he's still one of the highest paid players at the football club. He's still one of the highest paid players at the football club. But yeah, I just can't see, as you know, Man United willing to give him 600 odd grand a week. Don't forget, Paul Pogba did confirm back in June, early on this summer, you know, that he wanted to leave Manchester United. You know, he did say he wants to seek a new challenger. Basically, wanted to leave the club, you know, to rejuvenate his career. But yeah, Zinedine Zidane did identify Paul Pogba as his #1 priority target, and he will be infuriated, you know, that I didn't get his #1 priority target. Don't forget, Christian Eriksen was also, you know, on Real Madrid's agenda. Obviously, you know, Real Madrid's preference is Pogba over Christian Eriksen, but if Paul Pogba obviously is to renew his contract at Man United, then I think Real Madrid's alternative then, you know, will be to go in for Christian Eriksen on a free transfer at the end of this season, because Christian Eriksen has got under a year left on his contract with Tottenham. But yeah, definitely, you know, Paul Pogba, in my opinion, you know, still wants to leave the football club. But he's been now into his 4th season as a Manchester United player, don't forget. Obviously, he's won the Europa League with us and the League Cup. That came in his 2nd season at the football club. But yeah, it hasn't only been this summer he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, reflecting back last summer, there was a lot of talks about him leaving the football club. Obviously, this was back under the Jose Mourinho, where obviously Paul Pogba had a poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. And obviously, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho left the football club. But yeah, Paul Popper still wants out. He's obviously our most expensive signing. We paid £89 million, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows. Give his overarching view on the speculation about Paul Pogba, and he's very adamant that Paul Pogba will not be sold in January, and he's informed Real Madrid. Any attempts from them, will be unsuccessful in January. But Pogba's still got a lot of development in him. Like I said, he's in his prime. He's still 26 years of age. But yeah, he will not be playing in this game as confirmed. Also, Martial and Luke Shaw, they're not going to be playing in this game this evening either. I think Solskjaer's also said that they are huge doubts for the game on Sunday against Newcastle. Obviously, Martial and Luke Shaw have both missed the last 5 games for Manchester United. Martial's had a thigh injury. Luke Shaw's had a hamstring injury, so in that aspect they've both missed the last 5 games in all competitions. And like I said, Martial and Luke Shaw are two imperative players. Like I said before, Martial had sustained his injury. I think he enjoyed a really good start to this season. Martial, obviously we know the difference he makes in that attacking line, because like I did say, I think we are short now in that attacking line. Following the dismissal of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez and that. But Martial, it got confirmed at the start of the season that he has been given that number 9 shirt. Martial, does seem to be more effective. What? Yeah. Does seem to be more effective in that central position, and that Martial and Rashford are compatible in that aspect. They can both play central and can both play out wide. But for me, Martial, is more of the standout player in that central position. But Martial now is into his 5th season as a Manchester United player. Obviously, has scored over 50 goals for the club in all competitions. Are still only 23 years of age. Don't forget. But I think he's actually closer to regaining full fitness. But if Martial can keep the consistency up, and obviously if he can avoid sustaining any more injuries after he's recovered from this initial one, then I think he can score from at least between 15 goals to 20 goals this season. And obviously, with Luke Shaw, obviously, he's a very imperative player. Don't forget, he's our first choice left back. Due to his absence, we know that mainly Ashley Young has been fulfilling his role at that left back position, even though Young is predominantly right back. A few times Rojo has played at that left back position also. Don't forget Alex Tuanzebe played at that left back position on Monday. So quite a few players have fulfilled Luke Shaw's role, but it has been mainly, Ashley Young. But analysing Luke Shaw's career, I think he's been mainly consistent for Man United. He's had some, bad periods. He had a bad spell under Mourinho. He has sustained quite a few injuries, but I think prior to that, Luke Shaw has been very, very consistent for Manchester United, in my opinion. Don't forget, he won the double player of the season last season, reflecting on his impressive performances. But yeah, Luke Shaw and Martial will not be playing this evening. They also will not be playing against Newcastle, according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anywhere. Also, I don't think Ashley Young has travelled as well. I think that's been confirmed. Phil Jones is injured. I think he sustained a knock in the win over Rochdale in the Carabao Cup the other week. And these are the particular games where Phil Jones, like I said, will get more chances in the Europa League and the Cup games and that. But in this particular game, he will not be playing because Phil Jones is out with injury. Obviously, we know that Eric Bay is a long-term absence. He's out with a knee injury. As you all know, he's out, I think, until the end of December or the new year. Fosu Mensah is out, still out with injury. Solskjaer did confirm that, Shaw and Fosu Mensah had both returned back to training, prior to the Arsenal game. Fosu Mensah, I think, has been out of injury for quite some time. Obviously, he was on loan with Fulham last season, and I think actually, sustained the injury, whilst he was on loan with Fulham last season. But I think, Fosu Mensah is closer to regaining full fitness. It also has confirmed that Wan-Bissaka is out with illness. He will not be involved in the game. Maybe this particular game anyway, he probably wouldn't have played Wan-Bissaka anywhere, but he is out with illness. I think he has got tonsillitis, so I think, he should be back for the game against Newcastle on Sunday. And, Wan-Bissaka, I think he's been one of our most consistent signings, to be quite honest. I think the vast majority of the people believe, he's been one of our most consistent signings, and he's been very, very good so far this season. He's enjoyed a great start to his Man United career, and I think he's got all the ingredients required to become a huge success at Manchester United. And I did say, if he does keep the consistency up, his valuation, will persistently grow. But what a start, he's had to his Manchester United career. So Solskjaer, will make alterations in the squad this evening. So I think Mason Greenwood should be starting. Chong, I think Chong could be involved in the game. I think quite a lot of Man United fans have got element of concerns about Chong. Don't forget, there was quite a few clubs, that went in for Chong earlier on this summer. PSV inquired about getting him on loan. Also, Feyenoord inquired about getting him on loan, which was originally his former club. And now he's been at Man United overall around 4 years, as Chon. Don't forget, he was in discussions with the club the other week over a new contract, but he turned the loan offers down to PSV and Feyenoord because he wants to remain loyal to Manchester United at least for this season. Angel Gomez, possibly, could be involved tonight, because I think Angel Gomez and Diego Dalot have both been included in the squad. So the Netherlands, they both missed the game on Monday against Arsenal. Angel Gomez, it did initially say, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. Obviously, he actually played in the 2-0 defeat to West Ham, and obviously he is another one of our midfield options, is Angel Gomez, so maybe should be involved. And, with Diego Dalot, so far this season, he's only made one appearance for the football club, and that appearance obviously came in the 1-0 win over FC Astana last month. Diego Dalot is obviously another one of our backup options at that right back position. Alex Tuanzebe, I think, he should be, definitely, playing in this game. I thought he was very, very impressive against Arsenal on Monday night. Like I said, he was playing at left back on Monday, was Alex Tuanzebe. He did initially say anyway, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. Don't forget, Alex Tuanzebe returned to the club earlier on in the summer because obviously, last season he was on loan with Aston Villa, was Tuanzebe, and but I think he can definitely become a success at Manchester United. Don't forget, Tuanzebe's predominant position is a centre-back, but he can also play as a full-back and that. But I think in this game against AZ Alkmarr, Solskjaer will either put Rojo at left-back, he'll put Tuanzebe at left-back. Don't forget Brandon Williams, he's also travelled with the Man United squad, and I think he's also predominantly a left-back. But I think he'll probably stick with Alex Tuanzebe at left-back, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Actually, may put Rojo at centre-back and that. I don't think, maybe Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof will not play in this game. Maybe one of them could play, but I think, he probably will rest both of them, for the game against Newcastle on Sunday, because Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof, they mainly, do play in the league games. But yeah, like I said, Tuanzebe anyway deserves to keep his place in the team, because the games he's played him, I think he's been, very, very impressive as Tuanzebe. Definitely, will be Sergio Romero in goal. Obviously, he played against Rochdale and FC Astana, and Romero's obviously got that experience of playing in the cup games and that, and Romero is obviously our second choice goalkeeper. I think with Fred, like I said, we need to see more of Fred this season. To be fair to Fred, I think he's, done well in the last couple of games. Like I said, he's mainly enjoyed difficult time at Manchester United, in comparison, to his time at Shakhtar Donetsk, because he was an exceptional player at Shakhtar Donetsk, and obviously, we paid just under £50 million for Fred last summer and that, so he has been at the club, just over a year. But yeah, I think maybe he should start at the game, should Fred. It could actually, be Fred and McTominay in the midfield, or maybe Matic or something. It could be McTominay, Matic and Fred in the midfield tonight. My overarching view of McTominay is maybe McTominay won't play tonight. But I thought McTominay, I think he's been absolutely superb this season, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. You know, it was good to see him score against Arsenal. But Tomway, I think, has become a fruition at Manchester United. Like, in regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, you know, I have got element of concerns about that. And, you know, these question marks around him, you know, can he keep the consistency up at Tomway? And I hope he can, you know, keep the consistency up. And I obviously, you know, don't know if he can. But obviously, you know, he's obviously now our preference over Matic, because Matic has initially lost his place in the team, you know, to Scott McTominay. But I think McTominay is around, what, 23 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. But yeah, I have, you know, been very, very impressed with him. Jesse Lingard, you know, would you know, do you think he'll be involved tonight? And I think Jesse Lingard, analysing his performances so far this season, you know, he has been really, really poor for Manchester United. And like I did say, he's on around 100 grand a week at the club. You know, he's obviously progressing up the youth system, and that with Man United, he's now, what, 27, 28 years of age. And reflecting on his status at the football club, you know, he should be, you know, putting much more better performances out. Andres Pereira, I thought he had a good game against Arsenal on Monday, but I think prior to that game, he's enjoyed a pretty difficult start to this season. But I think, you know, Pereira, you know, should be involved this evening. Daniel James, definitely, you know, he should be playing tonight. I think, again, you know, he's enjoyed a really, really good start to his Manchester United career as Daniel James. And I think so far this season, you know, he's replicating, you know, what he did with Swansea, you know, last season. He only made his senior debut, don't forget, back in February 2018. You know, Daniel James, of course, scored in his competitive debut for the football club on the opening day against Chelsea, but he's also been very, very good. But yeah, he'll go a lot. I think he'll go a lot, you know, with a lot of the young players this evening. And that, will Brandon Williams get the chance? Will Angel Gomez play? Like I said, will even Jimmy Garner, you know, will he get a chance as well? I don't think yet Jimmy Garner has played this season. He did, I think, you know, play a couple of games, you know, throughout pre-season. But obviously, you know, hasn't played yet this season. And that AZ Alkmaar, like I said, it's going to be a much tougher test than, you know, FC Astana. Even Partizan Belgrade is going to be a much tougher test than FC Astana. But so far, we are, of course, sitting top of the group. I think AZ Alkmaar are sitting third at the moment in the Eredivisie. I think they've actually, you know, enjoyed them a pretty good start to the season. But this is the first ever competitive meeting, actually, between AZ Alkmaar and Manchester United. I think AZ Alkmaar's you know, record against the English sides in Europe, you know, isn't that good. I think they've only won 2 of their 12 matches against English opposition in a European competition. So maybe, you know, Manchester United, you know, should win this. But like I did say to you, you know, a lot of things have got to improve Manchester United. You know, the style of play needs to improve. You know, the results need to improve. You know, the performances need to improve. And to be fair, I thought the performance, you know, did improve against Arsenal on Monday night. But we know that a point is still not enough. You know, we've only won 2 games this season in the league. You know, we've won 4 games in all competitions, but we've only won 2 in the league. 7 league games, we've only won 2. So, and we've drawn 2, and of course, drawn 3, sorry, and we have lost 2. So in that aspect, you know, we've only registered 9 points from 7 league games, and we know that's nowhere near good enough, you know, to our current standards. So we are, of course, you know, sitting 10th in the league. You know, we are enjoying our worst start to a Premier League season in 3 decades, and you know, we've only won 1 of our last 6 league games in that. So obviously now the pressure is going to mount up more on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think, you know, now. And I think, you know, now Solskjaer's record after 28 games, it's turned out that it's worse than Jose Mourinho's, and that. So that's, you know, obviously, you know, very, very bad. But, you know, despite our bad start to the season, you know, Manchester United, of course, are still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, Ed Woodward, of course, is still convinced, you know, that he can turn things around at the football club. I think that also needs to improve at Manchester United. You know, our home form needs to improve. You know, our away form needs to improve, because we haven't won away from home, you know, since the PSG game last season. You know, when we did produce that miraculous comeback. And obviously, you know, that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moment as manager. I think we also need to tactically improve, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics are questionable, and I will admit, you know, we are tactically inept. I think the personnel's there. The personnel's actually quite good in that, which is one good thing. a lot of things do need to definitely improve at Manchester United. We also need to score more goals. We need to be more clinical in front of goal, because there's some games this season that you can pinpoint out that arguably Manchester United should have won. I think we should have definitely won at Southampton away. We should have won against Crystal Palace at home, because in that particular game, we had over 20 odd shots. We had the majority of the possession, but obviously didn't win the game. We should have, arguably won the game against Wolves early on this season. We should have arguably won on Monday night against Arsenal. So these certain games where arguably Manchester United should have won. We've only managed 9 goals in the Premier League, so far this season. I think 11 goals in all competitions, and that is just not good enough. To be quite honest with you. So we are, of course, lacking goals, but so far this season, is replicating, what I saw last season. And what I mean in that aspect, is that, I haven't really seen much improvements in that. And I think if we do continue this bad run of form, we could enjoy worse season this season than what we saw last season. Because last season we finished 6th, we failed to win any silverware. We also failed to qualify for the Champions League. And I think last season, was the lowest we finished, since the David Moyes era, because back under the David Moyes era, of course, we did finish 7th. But like I did say to you, I said, due to our inconsistency, I think, everyone needs to take the blame, so it is a mixture. But I think the vast majority of the blame, does stem from the board, because obviously the board did assure that Solskjaer would have been back during the summer. In my opinion, he wasn't back enough. The board weren't only not ruthless enough, during this summer transfer window. They haven't been ruthless enough in the last 3 to 4 windows at least. Obviously they haven't been getting the players, that we would. They haven't been getting the players in, that we would have liked in that. Obviously, the board, in my opinion, the board are a liability in that. But I think the board did realise at the start of the season that, they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough, throughout the course of the summer. So I think, he said regardless of what happens this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job, should be safe at least until May. But yeah, they didn't back him enough, throughout the course of the summer. And I think, the board do need to assure structural changes at the football club. And whether they assure these structural changes or not, I do not know. What? Yeah. Whether you can assure these structural changes or not, I do not know. But the question is, are the board, going to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the tools and that he does need. I think also some of the blame does stem from Solskjaer as well. Obviously, he has to take some responsibility. I think also some of the blame, does stem, from certain players, because there's actually a lot of players, that are underperforming. And I think also, some of the blame does stem from Ed Woodward, because obviously, Ed Woodward is the vice chairman, and obviously, Ed Woodward oversees our transfer business and that. But I did say, I credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in certain aspects. He did recommend, 3 good players to the squad, during the summer. Obviously, we spent over £140 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire, and we have seen glimpses of what good signs they've proven to be so far. And I was happy that we did address some of the problematic areas throughout the course of the summer, but we didn't address all of the problematic areas. But I did say it was going to be extremely difficult for us to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window. It was going to be extremely difficult. I also credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well, because he has got a lot of faith in his young upcoming players. And don't forget, as well, we did get rid of a lot of the deadwood, throughout the course of the summer. So we did initially, get that summer clear out, that we was obviously demanding, but despite the fact a lot of players have now left, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, I still believe, these are more problematic players at the football club, in my opinion. But, recently, I interpreted, some of the stuff, that Roy Keane had said on Monday Night Football. And he actually said, Manchester United, should stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He said, the club, needs to give him at least a couple more transfer windows, to see who else he can recommend into the football club. Because it's obvious that more investment is needed in the squad. And you can still quite frankly say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United squad. And like I did say say, I think, we didn't get all the players that we wanted in during the summer. I think the main reason was with our failure to qualify for the Champions League, because obviously, when you're not in a Champions League football, when you're not in a Champions League football and that, obviously you're going to find it very, very difficult, to attract players to elite level. Obviously. And, like I said, throughout the course of the summer, a lot of players had reservations about joining the football club. But for me, some of the players, we was in for throughout the course of the summer, probably more than likely, we will reignite our interest in them in January. Maybe we will leave some until next summer. But analysing our recruitment policy, it isn't too good, to be quite honest with you. And I think Solskjaer was talking about our recruitment policy, during the summer and that. But yeah, I think his job is safe at least until May. But like I did initially say at the end of last season, and he also said at the start of this season, that our expectations this season, will be to finish in that top four and maybe win some silverware and that. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations. But I said our aspirations, will be that top four in the next couple of seasons, because analysing our squad at the moment, it isn't, good enough to win the league. It's not even good enough, to mount any kind of title challenge up. And I did say it's very, very imperative that we get that top four this season, so we can obviously, get back into the Champions League. But, the way things are going at the moment, it's looking likely, that's not going to happen. We're not even going to finish in the top seven, the way things are going at the moment. But like I said, I keep saying I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure is going to become successful at Manchester United, but I just can't see that, materialising, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But Solskjaer, he's obviously not our fourth permanent manager, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. And, we're not really known for the sacking club, despite the fact that three managers have already gone, since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies, and like I said, we haven't really got the structure, to keep sacking managers. Obviously, Solskjaer overall, has been at the club around 10 months now overall. So he's been nearly at Manchester. Well, he's been at Man United now nearly a year. Don't forget, we recommended Solskjaer in last year, in December last year, following the dismissal of Jose Mourinho. Don't forget, Solskjaer did come in as the interim manager. Obviously he was interim manager for 3 months and that. And in that 3-month period, the results were good, the performances were good. He got the best out of these group of players and that, and he exceeded expectations. But since he got the job in March earlier on this year, everything, of course, has just seemed to have all gone wrong, basically. And now I've got element of concerns. But, don't get me wrong, Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. And he has got that proven pedigree as a player. Proven pedigree as a player in that. Obviously, he hasn't really got that managerial experience, to the highest level. So obviously, that's another element of concern. But like I did say anyway, reflecting on the amount of money that's been invested into the football club, also, reflect on the history of the football club, because we are the most successful team in England, historically. We should be in much more commanding a position, than we're in now. But yeah, we've got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least a couple of windows. So in that aspect, I do agree with Roy Keane fully. But I think anyway, managers, do need to be given time and that. They need to be given time, do managers, like I said, and as I do keep mentioning, reflecting back under the Alex Ferguson era, don't forget, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club, when we recommended him in from Aberdeen back in, 1985, 1986, was it? Yeah, he didn't win out in his first 4 years, and at that time, he was on the verge of getting the sack, and he didn't. And then look what he went and, accomplished. We had 20-odd years of success under him. Obviously, as well, Ferguson, developed a lot of young players. But like I did say, regardless of who our manager is, no one's going to ever have as long as tenure as Ferguson did. We're never going to replicate what we did under Ferguson. No one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. And like I said, I hope now this team, this day and age, can replicate, what the team did under Alex Ferguson. But obviously, I have got huge doubts about it. But yeah, for me, Solskjaer does need to be given more time. Also, Manchester United, a lot of Man United fans are also, demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to go more with the 4-3-3 formation than the 4-2-3-1 formation. Obviously, he's used both formations this season, but I did say throughout the course this season, I think he'll mainly, go with that 4-2-3-1 formation, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But a lot of Manchester United fans are obviously, the vast majority of them are actually, demanding Solskjaer out. You'll still get certain Manchester United fans, that are still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and obviously, I'm one of them certain people and that, because, he needs to be given time, because I think us getting rid of Solskjaer, at this moment in time, wouldn't solve the problems. But either way, I still think he's going to be gone by Christmas if this bad run of form, does continue to persist. But, who if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is to be sacked by the football club, obviously he would be the fourth manager to be sacked since the Alex Ferguson era, and that, who would you bring in, to as his replacement? And we do know, obviously, there has been a lot of talks about, Massimiliano Allegri from Juventus. Well, former Juventus manager, should I say. He stepped down earlier on this summer. Massimiliano Allegri, I think, is actually interested in coming into the Manchester United job to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, Massimiliano Allegri, the majority of his silverware he won, obviously came at Juventus as a manager. He obviously, won 5 Serie A titles with them. Obviously, won other trophies. Obviously, progressed them to 2 Champions League finals, and obviously, served around 5 years there with Juventus. Did Massimiliano Allegri. He actually has spent the entirety of his managerial career in Italy. I think he's in his 50s. Is he about 53, 54, something like that? Don't forget, he spent the entirety of his playing career in Italy. Did Massimiliano Allegri. But reports were stemming from the Italian press the other week, as he updated you on, saying that we've actually made Massimiliano Allegri our primary candidate to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United, and he actually could replace him at Manchester United this season. But don't forget, before we recommended Ole Gunnar Solskjaer into the football club, obviously after the sacking of Jose Mourinho, obviously, there was quite a few managers on our agenda. Obviously, don't forget, we made at the time Mauricio Pochettino our primary candidate to replace, Jose Mourinho, and we was in for Pochettino for quite some time. There was also talks about, Zinedine Zidane coming into the football club, but I did say, I think the only way them two would have come in is if the club would have assured them a substantial amount to spend. But at the time we was in for Pochettino anyway, I don't think we'd have got him, because obviously Pochettino, had no intentions of leaving Tottenham. Plus Daniel Levy, is a hard negotiator, and that. Maybe some people believe maybe if Solskjaer is sacked, maybe we should reignite our interest in Mauricio Pochettino, because actually, I think Pochettino did say at the end of last season, before the Champions League final, if he wasn't backed enough during the summer, that he threatened, to resign as a Tottenham manager. But maybe some people believe that Pochettino would suit the strappings of the club and all that, and if he'd do a really, really good job at Man United. Well, he is well proven in the Premier League. He's good at developing young players, and that's been proven with his tenure at Tottenham so far. He's now into his 6th season with Tottenham, so he has been there obviously 5 years. Obviously has not yet, won out in terms of silverware and that, and his expectations, obviously will be to win some silverware. Don't forget, he had a good short tenure with Southampton, before he was at Tottenham. Tottenham, don't forget, progressed to their first ever Champions League final last season. And but yeah, at the time we was in for him anyway, I did say we'd have had to pay compensation from between 35 to 40 million pounds for him, and obviously our preference was Solskjaer, because obviously Solskjaer was a cheaper solution. We paid Mould a couple of million to get him in his interim, then we paid a further 7 or 8 million pounds to give him the job permanently. So Solskjaer was a cheaper solution, and plus obviously he knows the culture and he knows the club inside out. Does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But yeah, I'm still, backing him, to be quite honest with you. I am, of course, I'm still backing him. But Solskjaer, I think, anyway, he's already making plans, for the January window. Also, I think Ed Woodward is already making plans for the January window, and that. I think, looking at it, we need at least 3 world-class signings, in my opinion. I still believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to continue the policy of signing, young British players, like he did do, throughout the course of the summer. I actually have been reading recent reports, and it says reportedly, we are willing to spend another substantial amount in January on two players. Reportedly, we are willing to spend up to £90 million on Lyon's Moussa Dembele and Newcastle's Sean Longstaff. So reportedly, they are two players on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. Obviously, Moussa Dembele is an out-and-out number 9, so he's a forward, and Sean Longstaff is predominantly a centre midfielder, so he is mainly a box-to-box midfielder. Now, obviously, we're seeing Moussa Dembele as an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku, because the club failed to recruit a replacement for Lukaku, throughout the course of the summer. Now, Moussa Dembele, obviously, he's 23 years of age, so he's still very, very young. I think he only turned 23 not too long ago. Obviously, now he's into his second season as a Lyon player. Obviously, last season was his debut season with Lyon in France, and did really, really well last season. Now, he's under contract, I think, with Lyon until 2023. Lyon paid around £20 million in from Celtic last summer. He did serve a good couple of years in Celtic as well, obviously, don't forget, he began his senior career with Fulham, so also that's beneficial because he's had experience of playing in the Premier League. Because I think at the time he began his senior career with Fulham actually were in the Premier League. But yeah, very, very good player. I think quite a few teams were chasing him, when he was at Fulham, Moussa Dembele. And I think he'd do really, really well at Manchester United. I think he would be the right, calibre player for the football club. But yeah, so probably he's going to cost us in the region of around £50 million if we had to get, Moussa Dembele in January. But I think he'd blend in our attacking line really, really well. He'd assure his goals and that, because he can score goals, as he has, proven with Lyon. And, with Sean Longstaff, like I said, we was in for him during the summer. With Moussa Dembele, we was tentatively linked with him during the summer. Like I said, he wasn't one of our main priority targets. We did inquire about, Moussa Dembele. But I actually think, Sean Longstaff, was one of our main priority targets. Obviously, Sean Longstaff, we're going to have to pay around £40 million for him in January. Obviously, if we are to obviously get him. We're probably seeing him as an adequate replacement for Ander Herrera, because we need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. But yeah, we didn't get Sean Longstaff during the summer because, Newcastle were playing hardball, basically. Newcastle know how much of an imperative player he is, and Newcastle, didn't even want to sell him. Newcastle did quote out towards the back end of the window that they did want in the region of around £50 million, and I think Man United were not willing to pay it. Sean Longstaff is 21 years of age. Don't forget, he only made his senior debut for Newcastle in December of last year, but, since he got into the senior squad with Newcastle, I think his performances have been really, really good. He did well in the second half of last season under Rafa Benitez's guidance. Don't forget, Rafa Benitez did resign as Newcastle manager back in June, which was earlier on this summer. Obviously, Steve Bruce came in, obviously, to replace him and that. I don't know how Sean Longstaff's performed so far this season, because I haven't, really watched Newcastle and that. But yeah, they are two players on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. But I think Solskjaer's identified, the four positions. He would obviously like to strengthen up. Maybe he would like to recommend a fullback in. Obviously get a midfielder in. I think his priority is to obviously get a striker in. Maybe get a right winger in, because don't forget, for the majority of the summer, we was in search for a right winner. I think we could possibly reignite our interest in Jadon Sancho. We may leave Jadon Sancho until next summer. I think we could go back in for James Maddison, because there was a lot of talks about us going in for James Maddison and Jadon Sancho, the other week, and that we could go in for them next summer. But again, them two players are going to cost the club a substantial amount. Probably we're going to have to pay around, £100 million for Jadon Sancho. We'd have to pay around £70 or £80 million for James Maddison and that. But yeah, they'd be two good calibre players for Manchester United, in my opinion, and that. But definitely no further more investment is needed in the squad. But like I said, analysing the majority of this squad, it isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. Actually, the majority of this team is actually Jose Mourinho's team, because don't forget, under the Mourinho era, obviously, we did recommend 11 players in. We spent just under £400 million in that, and still 9 of those players are here, from the Jose Mourinho era. So Solskjaer's still inheriting them. There is still players here from the Louis van Gaal era that he's inheriting. The vast majority of the players have left now since the Van Gaal era, but obviously still some of them are here. Don't forget, Juan Mata is still here, from the David Moyes era and that. like I said, a lot of money's being invested into the football club. Over £140 has been spent this summer under Solskjaer. Just under £400 was spent under Mourinho. Like I said, £200 was spent under Van Gaal, 60 million was spent under Moyes. So we spent around I think we spent around £800 million, in all the managerial areas and all that. And that's just under £1 billion. And obviously that doesn't take into account what we spent under Alex Ferguson. Obviously, if you want to take into account what was spent under Ferguson, obviously it's way more than £1 billion that the football club have spent. But if we get these two players in January, it's going to take, obviously, our spending, including what we spent this summer, to around around £240 million or something like that under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But yeah. And I think, also something else that could have went against us, throughout the course of the summer, I think also, was our, failure to get a director of footballing. Because I did initially say as well, that's one of the structural changes and that we do need with the football club is obviously, getting a new director of footballing. Because I did say, we needed to recommend someone in who obviously, knows the culture of the club, someone, of course, has got that experience, and someone who would be reliable, to oversee our transfer business. And there was quite a few former Manchester United players, linked with the director as well, earlier on in the summer. And I did say maybe if we had got that director of footballing at the start of the summer, and that in that aspect, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe, would have been backed more. But yeah, so. Things definitely need to improve at Man United and that. So what's the problem? Is it, Solskjaer? Is it certain players? Is it the board? Is it, Ed Woodward and that? People obviously, going to have different opinions and that on it. But I've been hearing a lot of Man United fans demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out with the football club. But yeah, big game tonight. We need to get the win tonight, so obviously we can remain top at the top of the group. Big game on Sunday against Newcastle and that. Newcastle's obviously, going to be a pretty tough game. Preview will be coming up for that probably tomorrow or Saturday. The preview will be coming up for that. Yeah, so nothing much really more to say, to Carnage. But yeah, main part of this video is Mason Greenwood is set to start the game tonight, which is very, very good news. And I'll be really, really happy to see him play. So anyway, guys, drop your coins, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.